All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another GetResponse webinar. Today, our guest is Neal Schaffer, a keynote speaker, educator, author, and social media strategy consultant. In a moment, Neal will show us how to grow on Autopilot with lead magnet funnels. So get ready for a lot of practical information. But let's just wait a few seconds so that everyone can join us in the room. And in the meantime, please let me know if the sound quality is okay. So just type yes in the chat if you can hear me well. Cool. So I guess that it's working perfectly. Right. So if you could just also tell us where you are joining us from. Okay, Switzerland. Hi, Thomas. Right, anyone in London? Hi. New Jersey, Chicago, Texas, New York City, Michigan. Okay, awesome, great. So that means that we are truly international today. Okay, so before we start, let me go over a few housekeeping items. Just a moment. Okay, so my name is Irek, and I'm here today with Daria. Together we'll moderate the discussion, and we'll do our best to answer all your questions. The webinar will take approximately 45 minutes. After the presentation, we will have a quick Q&A session in which Neal will answer any questions that pop up during the webinar. So don't worry if we don't answer your questions right away. We'll either answer them at some point during the presentation, or we'll save them for the Q&A session. As usual, we're recording the webinar, and we'll send you an email with the link to the video in the next few days. Okay, so all right, without further ado, I'm passing the mic to Neal.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Irek and Daria. And hello, everybody. I am here in Irvine, California. We're on lockdown like most of the world, so join the club. And I'm really excited that you joined us for this webinar today. It's the first time I'm going to be presenting on the subject, but it's something I'm really passionate about, which is lead magnet funnels and how to grow them on autopilot. As marketers, we always want to automate things as much as possible. And as more and more of our marketing goes digital, the good news is that there is a way to do that. And it's going to be all about using lead magnets, which we're going to talk a lot about. And I'm going to show you how I use GetResponse's very unique functionality to implement this automation at the end of this webinar. So let's get started. I was already introduced. For those of you that don't know me, I've been doing social media marketing, digital media marketing, speaking, training, consulting for more than a decade now, actually. I've written a few books. I teach executives at a few universities. I have my own agency, and I work with brands as an influencer. So this is not directly related to today's talk, but I just did come out with a book called The Age of Influence for those who want to know more about influencer marketing. This just came out 2 months ago. But enough about me. Let's move into the topic at hand today, which is, before we understand the value of lead magnets, we really need to understand the value that email marketing has. Because as marketers, when we look at the digital landscape today, we have basically 6 different components to that, 6 different ways we can promote our digital presence. We have the website, which obviously we all have. Some of us might have developed apps for our e-commerce store. We have search engine marketing, organically doing SEO, or we do it paid through pay-per-click advertising. We have email marketing or marketing automation. Then we have some of the newer types of digital marketing, which sort of converge with a lot of what we see in social media. We have content marketing, which often includes blogging, but it could also include lead generation assets. We have the social media marketing, the organic and the paid, and we have influencer marketing. So the interesting thing is, 2 of the most powerful components here are the ones that don't really get talked about a lot, because we know that everybody's talking about content marketing, everybody's talking about social media marketing, talking about Facebook ads and Facebook Messenger and Instagram and TikTok. But 2 of the most powerful features here, email marketing and influencer marketing, really don't get their share. So influencer marketing, I wrote a book on. I'm not going to talk about it during this presentation, but this is where email marketing fits in as well. It's not as sexy as TikTok, right? It's been around for a long time, but it is extremely powerful, and it delivers an ROI that you can get for a small amount of time compared to a tremendous amount of time that you might need to do in social media in order to get a similar or even less ROI. So I'm going to show you some data and some stats about that. So hopefully you will be, you'll be reset in your mind as to where to apply your strategy. Now, every one of these is still important though. Social media still has a role to play, right? But we need to now that everything's going digital, we need to do a reset and really invest in the things that make sense to do more of. And I think by the end of this presentation, you'll see that email marketing is one of them. One of the primary reasons when we do a comparison with social media marketing is that, let's face it, social media is borrowed land. I'm someone who had like 50,000 Google Plus followers, right? What is their value to my business today? Zero, right? Some of you may have been on MySpace, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that social media is borrowed land. We have no control. And if Zuckerberg wants to change something tomorrow, there's nothing we can do. We want people on our island, right? We want to be in control of everything. And that's our website. And social media has a lot of roles to play in terms of finding new customers, engaging with new customers. But at the end of the day, in order to close business, we have to get them on our website. We have to get them on our island. How are we going to do that? Primarily 3 different ways. We need to do it in a way where we meet people where they are today. So what do people do when they're online? They're either doing searches, they're on social, or they're reading email. And that's why obviously SEO is still important, social is important, but email has a particular importance when we compare how it works compared to these other 2 forms of marketing. So if you want to you meet someone on social media, right? If you want them to actually invest in your product or service, it takes multiple touches. Now, this is something that actually a lot of marketers talk about, but it actually comes from the sales world, right? You need to have a certain number of calls, of meetings, a certain rapport before you're going to be able to build the trust that people will buy from you. Now, you probably heard people say, well, it might take 7 touches or 8 touches. It's going to be different for every person as well as every company and every product or service. Some people say 5, some people say 20. So I took the range of 5 to 20. It takes a lot of touches with a potential customer to get them to convert. Now, how are you going to get all these touches? Email is the best way to provide these touches because not everybody sees everything you post in social media, but a lot more people might see everything that goes out to them in their email. Another important aspect about email is people find you from search, they go to your website. They find you on social, they go to your website. They're part of, their research phase. They're checking you out, they're checking your competitors out, right? You want to control that research process because if you can control the research phase, you can further influence them to want to buy your product or service. The way you do this, obviously, is through email. If you can get them somehow to sign up to your list and start a drip sequence of content, you are going to increase the chances that they convert significantly. This is something that if we don't do, we have to hope they find us again through search, or hope they find us again through social, or hope that they bookmark us, which obviously does not happen a lot of the time. So a few other reasons why email marketing is so compelling. And if you're interested in these stats, these all come from a blog post I wrote on email marketing stats. The URL is below there. But, we talk about Facebook having 2 billion users. Well, there's currently, 3.8 billion active email accounts. 59% say that email influences their purchasing decision. Your message, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, your message is 5 times more likely to be seen through email than through your Facebook posts. And you can imagine how. And here's the incredible thing, this bottom number, $40 in sales for each dollar spent in sending emails. And the reason is, I have right now with GetResponse, I have a certain list, and let's say, it's 5,000 people. Let's say it's like 2,500 people at $59 a month. So if I can generate $2,000 of sales from that 2,500 person list, I am at basically $40 ROI per dollar spent. So you're not paying additional money. Everything you do, you're building assets. And the more income you generate, the greater the ROI, because you don't have to pay more for email marketing, unless obviously you go to another tier from 2,500 to 5,000. But hopefully by that point, you're making so much money that it doesn't really matter. That's why the ROI is so huge. And if you have an e-commerce shop and you add in automated abandoned cart emails, right, or other marketing automation functionality that GetResponse has, you can be making money in your sleep from your email list. And that's why the ROI is tremendous. Social media marketing ROI can be high as well, but they say the email marketing ROI is the highest, and this is the reason why. Just two more things before we go on to the lead magnets. And I look at Optinmonster as a great pop-up plugin. I'm sure a lot of you use. They're a GetResponse partner as well. They've put out some incredible stats here. So just comparing, right, email versus social media, and you see, conversion rate, open rate, ROI on email is just much greater than organic social media marketing, as you can imagine. And here's the other thing, right? How many people, when you send out a post on a Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, on average, you get less than 1% engagement. Think of the people that actually open your emails. The average probably is 20 to 30%. And think of the people then that click through, which they say is somewhere between 2 to 5%, maybe 2, 3, 4%, right? The numbers are just infinitely better than social media. So just things to consider, because social media takes a lot of time. The beautiful thing about email marketing is it can be automated. And once you invest a little bit of time in lead magnets, then that's where you really put fire, you add fuel to the fire, and things can really explode for you. All right, so you've obviously bought into email marketing. You want to know how to do this, and you want to know where lead magnets fit in. And maybe some of you are already doing this, but I want to hopefully re-educate you on the value. So here's the thing, right? How are you going to grow your list? Are you going to ask people on your website to subscribe? Not really successful for most companies. Are you going to ask your social media followers to subscribe to your list? Probably not going to happen. Are you going to do pay-per-click or Facebook ads to get people to sign up to your list? Probably going to be very expensive. So this is not the way to do this. And I know that even myself on my website, hey, sign up, subscribe to our newsletter. It can be effective in some ways. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that if you consider a newsletter a type of lead magnet. So here's the thing. People are not going to give up their email addresses for anything and everyone these days, right? Similar to like on Instagram 5 years ago, maybe people openly followed people. They're not doing it anymore. So Instagram growth is difficult. And email marketing, in terms of growing your list, it's very difficult as well. Even if you get a lot of traffic, you need to provide an incentive for people to subscribe. You need to give them something so that they subscribe. This incentive is a lead magnet. It is an incentive. A lot of people also call these opt-ins, right? You need to give something of value. So let's look further at what are lead magnets by redefining them. So this is from GetResponse's own website. A lead magnet is a free incentive that you give away to your website visitors to capture their attention and convince them to provide you with their contact details. Typically, email address, name, or email address, first name. If you ask for 10 different things, you're probably not going to get many conversions, right? The fewer things you ask for, the higher your conversions are going to be. So what are the essential components? You're probably thinking maybe you already have lead magnets that aren't converting, or you want to create more lead magnets. What are these essential components of highly converting lead magnets? Number one, they have to provide value, right? Why are people coming to your website? When they find you in search, what keywords are they finding you for? Why are they going to your website or from social media, right? You have to provide them value. You have to solve their problem. Maybe give them an easy win. In addition to that, two things that are often forgotten are you don't just want to give out a random lead magnet. It has to generate demand for your products and services. If it doesn't, then you get people to your list, but they're there for the wrong reason, right? And you can use lead magnets very intelligently to qualify purchase intent. So if you're an email marketing software company and you have a lead magnet that says, 10 tips on how to automate your email marketing that our competitors don't let you know about because you have some unique functionality, that's a really, really good lead magnet that if people opt into that, that they have an interest in email marketing automation and they very might consider buying your software. So these are things to consider when creating your lead magnet. Now, we talked at the very beginning about, lead magnets and subscribe to my newsletter. So there are newsletters that might be considered a lead magnet. This comes from Jay Baer's site, Convince and Convert, one of the thought leaders in marketing. So, he's put a lot of thought into his newsletter. He's been doing this for 20 years, right? So his newsletter provides a lot of value. It provides information, but it's curated. It keeps you on the top of the trends. There's 75,000 other of the world's smartest marketers. Everything is, depicted here as a way that, it's almost like FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. If we don't subscribe to this, then we're not going to get access to this content that's really going to keep us ahead of our competition. So if you create a newsletter like that, I vow to do that with my own nealschaffer.com website. I have weekly newsletters, I have monthly newsletters, and I spend time to really curate content that helps people, but also generates demand for what I provide. If you can do that, then yes, a newsletter can be considered a lead magnet. Get your weekly diet tips, get your weekly fashion tips, get your weekly lead generation tips, whatever it is. So long as you can put it in this way, I think a newsletter can be a lead magnet. But it's obviously going to require you to invest time on a weekly basis to create that, because you don't want to be posting old news in your newsletter probably. But there are many, many other types of lead magnets that I want to go through. So on the left, we have more traditional types of lead magnets. What we've seen over the past few years is that very simple lead magnets can do very well. So these can be, when I say very simple lead magnets, it can be a one-page checklist or cheat sheet or worksheet. There are podcasters like Amy Porterfield that basically create one of these for every podcast episode. Every podcast episode has a lead magnet. And obviously, when you do that, you're qualifying your audience to see who is opting into which lead magnet to understand their needs, right? So it's actually a very, very brilliant approach. You could have a different lead magnet. We sometimes call these content upgrades, but every blog post could have a different one-sheeter. Hey, now that you've read the blog post, if you want to get this in a PDF format, in a easy to read checklist, please download here, provide name, email address, and you've just created a lead magnet. So it doesn't have to take a lot of time. And there's other types of lead magnets. We get, the further down on the list, we get a little bit more complex, but we have, templates. This obviously depends on your product or service. If you're selling, Adobe Photoshop presets and you have a sample preset that you can give away, or if you're a copywriter, maybe you give away some free swipe files, whatever it is. Quizzes, you need to use a third-party software for this, but quizzes, we've seen a lot of companies that have done very well by, asking you to take the quiz. And hey, if you want to see how you compare with everybody, make sure you sign up to see your results. That's a very clever way of getting people to opt into your newsletter. We have email courses. Very popular as well. These can be done in GetResponse with a very easy drip sequence. Add people to a list for the course, and after 24 hours for 7 days, send them an email. So these are very, very popular as well. We have the ebook, which is probably the standard lead magnet. It can be short or long, so long as it's providing value and solving a problem and really helping in the transformation of your visitor, right? We can do audio video recordings or trainings. We can do a webinar. Yes, this is a lead magnet. You provided your name and email address to attend this webinar. Webinars are still really powerful. And in today's, era of COVID-19, everybody's at home. Just like, we see all these Facebook lives and Instagram lives, people are ready to consume information. So there's never been a better way to do webinars. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, the webinar that you have access now is actually part of GetResponse's software. So when you subscribe at a certain plan, you can actually do webinars for free. I'll show you that a little bit later. Now, on the right-hand side here are, the left-hand side could be for B2B or B2C. The right-hand side tends to be more for B2C, but it could also be B2B. So contests and giveaways, these are huge. We hear about people like that do giveaways and grow their Instagram followers by hundreds or thousands of followers. Well, hopefully they're also asking for email address in order to, do or be entered into the giveaway. So this is a really, really easy thing to do, but you don't want to give away an iPad. You want to give away something that's relevant to your audience. So I wrote a new book, right? And I had a number of authors endorse that book. So I'm preparing to do a giveaway of marketing books because anybody who enters this marketing book giveaway might be interested in buying my book. Could be as simple as that. So invest a little money in this, using appropriate products to qualify your audience, and you're going to get a much higher quality lead, much higher quality opt-in when you do that. We also have coupons and special offers. How many times do you go to an e-commerce site or a retailer website? Hey, save 10% on your next order, opt into our list. Or hey, give us your email address, save 20%. That is a lead magnet. They are providing something of value. In this case, it's monetary value. 10% off, 20% off, buy one, get one free. Enter your email address to get the code. So there's no excuse for not having ideas for lead magnets. There's many, many different ways in which you can provide value. So I want you to really think out of the box here, which is why I'm trying to give you a lot of examples. We have free trials, free product, free service. We have live demos. This might be more for the B2B space. But as you can see, there are many, many ways to get email address, get contact details once you provide something of value. They're all going to convert differently, right? So probably at a certain point in time, you're going to have multiple lead magnets of multiple formats. But once you get this and you begin to create lead magnets, well, then how do we sort of automate this at scale? And that's where I really want to focus on, which I think you all want to hear more about as well. So now that we've understand the value of email, the value of lead magnets, we have lots of ideas for lead magnets now, right? How do we go ahead and promote these? Lead magnets do not build your list unless you can actually promote them. So there are many ways to promote lead magnets. This is an example. You're seeing a screenshot inside GetResponse of these pop-up forms, and they have dozens of templates that you can choose from. And these are just some examples in which you add the text, you customize the look and feel, and boom, you now have a form that appears on your site that allows people to immediately access your content, and you get to grow your list. So this is a very, very easy way of doing this. In fact, GetResponse also has additional applications. You're seeing a number of them here, the exit pop-up, the shake box that sort of shakes like this. You've probably seen these other websites, and if you haven't implemented them, you're probably wondering, how the heck do we implement them, right? Well, it's very, very easy to do by just using the app, getting your hands on a template, and customize it. So some of the most popular ones here, the exit pop-up, which senses when your cursor is about to leave and click on the tab, it will immediately, hey, leaving so fast, why not save time, receive our updates? Or obviously, this is where you want to show your lead magnet. We have the fix bar at the very top. When there's something you want to make sure that every visitor sees on every page, that's when you want to use the fix bar. Obviously, each one of these is going to convert differently, so you want to check your analytics to see which ones do better. And then we have the scroll form. So as you scroll down and you get to a certain point, you'll see this form pop up. And it's qualified the fact that you've already gone deep into content. You probably have some interest. So it's probably going to convert a little bit higher, but it is not going to be shown to everybody who comes to your site unless they scroll down. Obviously, like any other email marketing solution, GetResponse integrates with a lot of the leading pop-up form and all these third parties. If what you saw up until now was not enough for you and you want to customize things in a certain way. So Optinmonster is one that I use, and they have a lot of different formats that you see here. Some are the same as what GetResponse has. Some, like full screen welcome mats, countdown timers, content lockers are pretty unique to Optinmonster. There's another one that I use if you're into showing these various top bars and scrolling and what have you. This is a tool called Get Site Control that also integrates with GetResponse that you should check out as well. So there's tons of lead magnet ideas, and there's tons of ways to get people to notice the fact that you have a lead magnet when they come to your site. The technology's there, right? But the technology can also get a little bit complicated when you start using different companies' products. And this is really what I want to talk about here, because maybe the technology is holding you back, right? But you're ready to run. Hopefully when you get here, it's like, yes, how do I do this? How do I automate this? What is this functionality that you're going to introduce me to, Neal? So let's get to that. So when dealing with lead magnet funnels, right? Obviously, I want you to spend the most time in creating a lead magnet, creating something that provides value. Everything else should be easy and automated. The problem is, I'm the same. I might use a landing page software. And when I'm in the landing page software, I have to create a landing page, right? First of all. And then I have to make sure that when I press the button, what is the action? And I specifically use lead pages. So for those that use lead pages, probably know what I'm talking about. Then you need to make sure that everything is integrated, that the thank you email goes somewhere. And then inside the email marketing software, I need to check and make sure that at every stage that everything works. And I'll tell you, a lot of times it doesn't work. And it could be complex, and it could be frustrating, and it could be time consuming. So what's really exciting, just comparing a landing page solution with what GetResponse provides you is that we can do everything that I'm going to talk about next all inside GetResponse. And it's all using their very, very unique functionality called automated lead magnet funnels. It almost sounds too good to be true. So let's actually go into GetResponse so I can show you exactly what it is. So for those of you that have never, and you know what, let me take a little break here. I've done a lot of talking and I tend to be a fast talker. Before I get into the demo, Daria, do we have any questions that I should cover now? Okay, well, I don't think we have any questions. Maybe the two of them just stepped out for a quick minute. So let's dive then into the actual demo that I want to show you of how this works. So for those of you not familiar, this is the GetResponse screen when you log in. And this menu shows you all the different types of functionality that GetResponse has. So you'll notice I talked about webinars that they provide. I am at the Plus plan, so I get access to the webinar platform that you're using today. We have the normal email marketing, autoresponders, automation. They do integrate with Facebook as a Facebook partner, your Facebook ads, the forms, which I showed you, landing pages, and the conversion funnel. So we're going to go straight to the conversion funnel. And what we're going to look at here is creating a new funnel. So let's call this new funnel webinar. And obviously, we can use this funnel to promote different things, whether we want to sell a product, promote a webinar, or build a list. Today, we're talking about list building. So let's go here and create a funnel. And what we want to do is we want to create a lead magnet funnel. So you'll notice that actually GetResponse provides you with a few lead magnets that you can use. These are based around email marketing or content marketing. So if you're a marketing agency or you're like a marketing blogger or you're a GetResponse affiliate, you can actually create a lead magnet funnel very quickly just using what they provide you. But I'm going to show you how it's very easy to create a lead magnet. So we're going to add a file. We're going to add a description. And I'm just showing you this. I'm going to show you my lead magnet, but we drag and drop an image for the file. This is a square image. And then we upload the file. And that's all it takes to create the lead magnet. So I have already done this, so I don't need to bore you and waste your time. So I already have this, which is a preview of my new book. Basically, the first chapter to give you a feel as to what the book is about. So we're going to create a lead magnet using, we're going to create a lead magnet funnel using that lead magnet. And immediately what you see here is what the lead magnet funnel looks like and how GetResponse at every phase actually helps you create the lead magnet. So we need to create a landing page, right? We need to build the sign up page. So we go to create a sign up page. And you can see here all the different templates that you can use. I specifically used this template. So I'm just going to call this webinar. And I want to show you how easy it is to do because I went through this process and it did not take me very long to get this up running. And remember, this is all done inside GetResponse, which is really the most exciting thing here. So before I even get to this, you'll notice that it already pre-populated things. It already pre-populated the image that I had saved when I created my lead magnet. Interesting little thing here that I want to show you is there's also an exit pop-up of this landing page that GetResponse is automatically creating for you. So if they come to the landing page and they don't convert, GetResponse has you covered by creating this exit pop-up. So I'm just not going to do anything with this right now. But when we get into the actual form, you see that I can easily, easily edit this. I know you can't see it. So let me just get rid of, I'm just going to toss that away for now. Free ebook, sample of my new book. And for every one of these, you see how I can easily customize everything you see here. We have a number of font choices, sizes, colors. We have all sorts of other additional components that we can add on the right here. But just if we want to get this going, boom, they enter their name or email, they click that, and they're able to get access to this. So let me just save this for now. And I want to go back into, obviously, we have a thank you page, which we can edit as well. So I actually want to get back into the funnel that I had already created. So you see it already creates a landing page, right? So I'm actually going to go back into the funnel, which I created the other day, to show you once you have everything done, what it looks like. So you'll see the landing page that I created is very similar to that template, but it works, right? Obviously, you want to customize everything. We have the image. Everything else is the exact same. It took 1 minute to create that, right? Now we can see of the people who come in, how many contacts are coming and signing up, and then we get a separate analytics for those exit pop-ups. Then we have the actual download page. The actual download page you'll see is a different page that GetResponse allows us to easily create. So thanks for being a subscriber. Click below to down the preview. They click this, and they will immediately get access to the lead magnet. So it's all automated. It's all done inside GetResponse. And literally, once you have the landing page done and this download page done, then you may want to spend a little time into creating an autoresponder. So basically, these are the best practices, right? We have a lead magnet. We create a landing page. We then have the download page that they can access it once they convert. And then we put them on an autoresponder sequence. And then we can see, of the number of page views for our landing page, how many people are actually coming, how many people are actually converting, how many people did we grow our list by. And we could be doing this for every single lead magnet we have, do A/B testing, and try to find those that grow our list fastest. So there you have it. But we're not done yet, because I mentioned that GetResponse is a Facebook ad partner. So we also have the ability here to add social media ads. And when we go here, you'll see that inside of GetResponse, I can create a Facebook ad for my campaign. In fact, in addition to Facebook ads, and I'm going to go back into the funnel that I've yet to create, which is this funnel, you'll see here the different options that we have. Okay, I think I need to create a little bit more here. But there are various options we have to create ads, not just with Facebook, but with other ads as well. So I know I'm going back and forth between this new one and the one I already created. But as you can see, it is very, very easy to create. Once you have the lead magnet and you create your autoresponders, it all is automated. And we can accelerate that automation through a Facebook ad that we can create directly in the GetResponse platform. So, Irek, Daria, I know I talk a little bit fast and went a little bit fast, but the technology is so easy that I was able to show everything very quickly, I think. So I want to hand it over and see what questions we might have.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Neal, so much for your presentation. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly.
Oh, that's awesome, because previously I had some connection issues, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, thank you so much for your presentation so far. And you're right, now it's a perfect time to answer a few questions, because there were some really interesting ones. So Daria, if you could just okay, so I have a question. Can there be a page to the landing page after they have filled in their name and email address? Only after that they go to another page with more details or maybe more questions. Right. So I guess that this is a question about the sequence of landing pages. So I can take that one, or I don't know, Neal, if you wish, I could just
Yeah, you go for it, and I'll add additional comments if I have them.
Sure. So of course you can have this sequence. So it's not a problem for you to create the first landing page, let's say, with a web form, and then you could use a thank you page, for example, with some additional information. In fact, you can create as many landing pages as you wish. It all actually depends on your idea for the communication with your audience. So let's say if you think that a sequence of like 3 landing pages would be a good idea, one leading to the other, it's perfectly fine. But I guess that this example that Neal showed us is a very good one, because you have a landing page first with a web form. Then you have also this exit pop-up. So you can be sure that even if perhaps somebody does not scroll down where your web form is, so they can still sign up through the exit pop-up. Then you have this thank you page, and you have the autoresponder series to send some more content. So yeah, Neal, what do you think about that?
Yes. So what you're looking at here, obviously GetResponse is a very mature platform, so you can do everything you want to do. But if you want to take advantage of this automated functionality, it's really based on the most traditional sort of best practice way of doing this. You probably have a specific reason for having multiple landing pages, but I think from a consumer perspective, why, I want to access this information. Why can't I access it? Why do I have to go through multiple landing pages? Or if you're trying to do an upsell, then that's less of a landing page and more of an upsell. So I think we'd have to know a little bit more about what you're trying to do. But in terms of growing your list with lead magnets, the easiest way to do that is through what you see here, and to get as little information as necessary and perhaps upsell them on the sequence of emails is probably the more traditional way of doing it. So, but I think what you want to do, and Irek, correct me if I'm wrong, is possible within GetResponse, just not through this automated functionality that you see here.
Yeah, actually, you're absolutely right that it all depends on the situation, on the particular context. This automation is ready for you, so actually you won't spend much time using the conversion funnel. But if you want to customize it in any way, you can easily do that in GetResponse as well. Okay, do we have any other questions?
Irek, I just want to also point out, remember that it sounds like if you're thinking of multiple landing pages, you're probably a very advanced user. This functionality is for those that are not as advanced with lead magnets and funnels and just want an easy way to automate the process, which is why they have this functionality. But if you're ahead of that curve, then yes, you'll want to go dig deeper into GetResponse's functionality. And you should actually contact their customer support after this to find out exactly how to implement that. So Irek, I'll go back to you. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Neal. Thank you for that. Okay, so we've got a question from Saad. Where should we put lead magnets typically? So Neal, what is your take on that?
So there are many, many different places to put lead magnets on a website. And the problem is, as a marketer, we want to put them everywhere. But as a consumer, we don't want to see them everywhere, right? And there's even some people are saying that Google might be penalizing some sites if all these different pop-ups are too they get in the way of what people want to see in terms of the content. So I think we need to be very, very careful. I would say that some of the best practices are the exit pop-up is a great example. I would definitely use that. If you go to my site, you're not going to see a lot of these. I'm planning on pushing these out there. I think at the bottom of blog posts, is another great place to have a download button, because once they finished your article, they should have interest in learning more. And if you were to build a lead magnet for every blog post, that's where I'd have it. But you can also put lead magnets, forms in the middle of blog posts, right? Don't wait for them to get to the end, because they may not. Put it in the middle, or you can even have two. If you have a longer blog post, have two in them. We also have that top bar, bottom bar. On my site, I use the bottom bar, right? So at the end of the day, you're probably going to have a combination of an exit pop-up. The landing mat is another one, which comprises the entire front page. I don't know if I'd use that for every site, because that, there's some debate as to will Google penalize you or not for that. But for instance, I'm looking at doing that for my homepage, because my homepage is always going to have #1 ranking on Google. It's probably not going to hurt my ranking, right? So that's a great place to put a landing mat. I wouldn't put it on every page. Some people do. You'll have to experiment. But landing mat, exit pop-up, bottom of blog post, and then forms inside your blog posts would be my recommendation. And the other one is the additional either top bar or bottom bar. I don't know if I do both or not, but those I think are the most popular areas. And I would definitely try with each page on my website to have multiple ways of converting people. Irek, any other additional areas you'd recommend, or did I hit them all?
Yeah, I think that you hit them all. So thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, we've got another one. So will exit pop-up work after they fill in the form that we put in the landing page? So here, whenever somebody signs up through the web form that is in the landing page, the pop-up will not appear. Actually, it's irrelevant, right? Because all we need to do is, we don't want to just put a lot of pressure on our audience, on our visitors. So whenever somebody signs up, then actually, they should not be bothered anymore. So it just makes sense to deactivate the pop-up once somebody signs up through the landing page.
And I think that's the same for any technology out there when it comes to exit pop-ups. They only work if nothing is done and they want to close the tab, basically.
Exactly. It totally makes sense if, for example, if you know that somebody hasn't scrolled down the page, so actually they didn't have the opportunity to see the web form on the landing page, and then it's totally reasonable to use the exit pop-up. And we've seen that actually this is very effective. But otherwise, it's like, it should be just one point of conversion only. What causes people to click on my funnel? Okay, Neal, what do you think about this one? It's a very good question.
What causes people to click on my funnel?
Right.
Okay, well, first of all, we define the funnel as something attractive that would lead people into the funnel. And in this case, we're looking at the lead magnet, right? So is this lead magnet, is it attractive enough for people to want to sign up? And are you promoting this, on your page enough? And we talked about the different ways to promote it just before. So those are sort of the key things to think about here. We mentioned the different ways in which you can lead people to the lead magnet in addition to the Facebook ads. But, if constructed correctly through the autoresponder and potentially sequence of autoresponder messages you send, those I think are the key points. And that's why I focused a lot on what is that lead magnet going to be, as well as the different ways you can promote that lead magnet on your site. Irek, any other additional thoughts?
Yeah, totally. Because you've actually you've given us a lot of really nice examples of lead magnets, and I believe that here a lead magnet is actually this thing that causes people to click on the funnel. So actually, exactly as you said, Neal. So is it valuable enough? And I really I particularly like the lead magnet that you've used in your funnel for the purpose of this presentation, which is like a part of your book, right? And this is cool because actually, like people can, first of all, get some valuable content from you for free, but then when they like it, they know actually that it's not a problem actually, and they should actually buy the book because it's full of valuable information. So exactly. So the quality of the funnel, valuable content, something that your target audience, like any sort of relevant information. This is, I believe, something that causes people to click the funnels. Okay, what else do we have here? So this is a question from Catherine. Please explain exit pop-up. How does it work exactly? So I can take this one if you wish, Neil.
Yep.
So this exit pop-up is basically a web form that pops up when somebody wants to exit your landing page, right? So the idea is that we don't want to interfere the flow of your website. So whenever somebody lands on your landing page or your website, they can focus on the most important information there is, like, for example, an article or a description or whatever there is there. And sometimes, just people take a look around and they want to exit the website. And then actually, there is the moment when the exit pop-up is activated and you've got this opportunity to present a short form, like, asking people or inviting people to sign up for the newsletter. So yeah, it might be a good idea, especially if you have a lot of information on your website, perhaps, or if your landing page is quite, like, packed with information. So then maybe somebody who visits your landing page and they know that they don't have a lot of time at this very moment, so they tend to leave. But if you offer them this, like, for example, web form, and when they know that they can sign up for your newsletter and they know that your website is a source of valuable information, it might be very effective.
Yeah, I just want to add, basically the technology, if you're going to leave a website, what are you doing? You're probably going to point your cursor up to either, go back to enter a new search or to X out a tab. So once, GetResponse senses that the viewer is pushing the cursor up, they are assuming that they are about to exit, and that's when this would show. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that as marketers, sometimes we're afraid to use these. We think they're very intrusive. And that's a good thing to think. But on the other hand, they really are effective. People really do respond to these. So even if you personally don't like them, you personally would never fill them out, I urge you to at least try. Marketing is all about testing and getting data. I urge you to try for 100 impressions, 1,000 impressions, 10,000 impressions. And I think that compared to other types of pop-ups, this exit one actually works very well. So, give it a try and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So marketing is about testing, getting data, and optimization. So yeah, that's the best approach. Another one from Raymond: is lead magnet effective for B2B business? What about that?
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. B2B business, the buyer is trying to make the best purchasing decision, and therefore they are looking for information. And they also need to provide that information to other people in the company to get approval for them to buy something, right? And to make them look good and to have it, this company is trustworthy. So the best thing that you can do from a marketing perspective is to give them the information that they need at every step of the buyer's journey. And this is why sometimes you'll see on some sites comparisons between their product and the competitor's product. This is a direct type of content that speaks to that buyer's journey where I don't know if I want to go with your company or competitor, what should I do? And you provide them that information. So absolutely, as part of that information, you want to sort of whet their appetite with your blog post, what have you. But the lead magnet should really take it to the next level where you're providing a lot of deep information, you're providing credibility, and in some cases, if it's B2B, you may want to even ask for their phone number so that you pass the lead on to sales and they can actually follow up. Because if someone is going to download, an ebook on best practices in conversion rate optimization, chances are they're probably looking to buy a service around conversion rate optimization, and you want to be the ones that control the sales cycle, the ones that control the information, and that's what your lead magnet can do. So I think lead magnets are especially powerful for B2B industries. Think about it this way. So I have one of my clients is a startup in the B2B space, right? How are we going to get leads? We can post organically on social media. It's going to take time. We can do Google ads and Facebook ads and LinkedIn ads and Twitter ads. It's going to be expensive. Or since we're doing blogging as well, right? So we're doing all the right things, spending a lot of money. And if you understand how ads work, they're not always the most appropriate people. But if now we start to create lead magnets so that everybody that comes to our website has a chance to opt in, that's how we begin to grow our list and qualify that the people opting in have an interest in us because they've gone out of their way to download something that is relevant to them, right? Then instead of using ads to point to our website, we want to point them to our lead magnets now. And this is exactly what you see here with GetResponse on top here. So without lead magnets for B2B marketing, I don't know how you're going to grow as a company, how you're going to get leads. Irek, any further thoughts?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And here, it's all. I guess that we also need to just focus on the decision-making process, right? So sometimes in B2C, it's like very simple. And in B2B, it might be quite complicated. So I guess that if we plan to create lead magnets for B2B businesses, I guess that then we need to just think about all the people that are involved in the decision-making process. But it's exactly what Neal said. So you just need to make sure that you present the valuable information, and of course, lead magnets are really effective for B2B businesses as well. So yeah. Okay.
And they provide, when the boss says, "Why did you choose this company?" They send over the lead magnet, which is a compelling ebook that you wrote. And immediately that there's proof, right? So without the lead magnet, it's going to be a little bit harder. And that's why lead magnets are so compelling for B2B.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Another question from Sad. What info should be ideally collected through lead magnets? So Neal, what do you think about that? It's a very general question. I know that it might differ actually in B2C and B2B, so this is cool because it's related.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
So the best practice is what you see here. I like to collect, I will say first name. I would edit this first name and email. The reason is you're going out on your first date, right? You don't know this person yet. You want to get to know them. If I'm asking for their annual household income, their zip code, the more information I ask for up front, the less chances are that they're going to convert, right? So I want to make it simple because once I get them to opt in, that's how I'm going to get more and more information from them, if that makes sense. That's where I'm going to offer them other things to see if they're interested. I may have surveys in which I can get that information. And I almost think that's more effective because you've already began that relationship, right? So that would be my advice. I mean, every marketer is different. And I had one client, their lead magnet was a quiz, but the quiz was so compelling because the quiz was, take this quiz about your lifestyle, and we will tell you how to improve your lifestyle to reduce the risk that you get Alzheimer's disease later in life based on scientific data. So you had to give personal information like your height, like your weight, like your age, like your zip code, because they were looking at, Alzheimer's and according to zip code here in the United States. You had to give that information to get your score and to get your advice. And that was really powerful. That did, really, really well because it was so compelling. And in order for people to get the information, they understood that they had to give up more information. So that's a unique case. Now, if you have that same case where people have to give that information in order to find out, logistically speaking, that's one thing. But if not, I'd recommend getting them into, start dating them and slowly building that relationship. And from there, getting more and more information from them based on, what links are they clicking or, surveys, what have you. Irek, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And I really like the example that you've given, this quiz. And of course, if you are interested in the results of the quiz, you are ready to answer quite a lot of personal questions even, right? But I'm a huge fan of this so-called progressive profiling. So I couldn't agree more, actually, that at first, it's a good idea to limit the number of, the amount of information to the bare minimum. So as you said, like it might be a name and email address, and later on you could even like use your, like emails, email templates, call to actions, and find out more about your audience. So actually you can, I believe that the most important part at the very beginning is just not to overwhelm people, because sometimes, somebody might be really interested, but still when they see that your form is really long and, they need to provide answers to like 20 questions, it might be a bit too much. But if you focus on the most important things first, and then you actually plan your communication in such a way that you can get more data, I think that this is great.
And Saad, I want to add one thing. I want to give you sort of a ninja tip. Okay, so what I do, and the reason that I use a GetResponse and not a ConvertKit and not a MailChimp, is the ability to do scoring of each person on my list and to do automations in a very, very complex way. And what I mean by this is what Irek was talking about, progressive profiling. What I do is, people sign up and I score their activity, which you can do in GetResponse. Every time they click on a link, every time they open an email, every time they go to my website, I'm giving them points. And when they're warm enough, and the points tell me when they're warm enough, I automatically send them an email when their score gets to a certain point level with the survey question. Let me serve you better. What are the specific types of things you're interested in? Please help me understand your needs better. And this is something that's completely automated and very sophisticated, but you have to use a software like GetResponse in order to do that. So that would be my additional advice there. And you'll have to either, contact me or get hold of GetResponse to get more details on that. But that is what I do, and I highly recommend you do. And that's why, complex, sophisticated solutions like GetResponse have tremendous value once you understand how to do this.
Yeah, thank you for that, Neal, because exactly, if you use marketing automation, you can use tags, you can use scoring, and actually you have a lot of opportunities to, like track your customer engagement and use the data in order to just know more about your audience.
And this
okay,
is,
I guess
you're actually seeing my automation, which I created in 1 minute. When people open a newsletter, they get 1 point or they subtract, and then when they click on any link, they get 2 points. This is you're looking live at the automations for my account. It's very, very easy to create, but very, very powerful.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. Right, so we have time for the last question, and the last question is: can I use a lead magnet without a website? So I can just briefly explain that even if you don't have your own website, you can create a landing page, or you can create a funnel, exactly, a similar funnel to the one that Neal presented, and then you don't need your own website. You can create it in GetResponse in a few minutes. Neal, would you like to add anything here?
Yes. So actually, when you create your landing page, and let me just go into conversion funnels here. When you create your landing page here, it might be my settings actually. There is a setting where if I want to put, age of influence preview.nealschaffer.com, I have the ability to do that. In fact, you know what? Let me go back here since we have the question. Let me go back here. When I create this landing page, 1 second here. If I edit this page, if I go to the settings here, oh, it's not here. Okay. I know that there was a settings here where I could actually create the URL. So I probably have to create a little bit more. But here's the thing. The URL for this landing page that I created is this. It's a great.com, which is actually a GetResponse landing page. So I don't have to put this on nealschaffer.com. And if I lead people to this landing page from social media, from Facebook ads, it doesn't matter that it's not on my website, right? When you have a landing page on your website, you're going to be more effective. But if you're a startup and you don't have a website yet, this landing page could become your website, your URL on Twitter, your URL, that you want to lead people to can become this. Go here for more information. And then from here, so yes, this could be your entire website. Irek, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. This is so you can use any template in GetResponse, and you can publish it, and it's going to be hosted in GetResponse domain. So if you don't have your own website at this moment, you can easily use any landing page in GetResponse. You can publish it, and it's going to be yours. You will have your unique URL, and you can run your campaigns. And then maybe later on, at any point, you can convert it to your own domain. But as Neal said before, it's not a problem, and you basically can create websites in GetResponse, and you can use those links in minutes, right? Once you're ready with the template or just with the landing page, you're ready to go. Okay, so because we are running out of time, so I guess that it's time to wrap up. So I just wanted to thank you, Neal, for sharing so much practical knowledge with us. It was brilliant, both the presentation and the way you created the funnel and your the ideas for lead magnets. It's a lot of great knowledge, and thank you guys for joining us and being such an active group, because we had wonderful Q&A session. Your questions were great. So as promised, we're going to send you a link to the recording in the next few days. And yeah, thanks again, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the next GetResponse webinar.
Thank you, everybody.